Welcome back to another Inktober prompt. Today is day 21, Drain. 10 more to go. So when I was thumbnailing out everything, planning out Inktober, this was another one of those prompts that I had to let sit and come back to. I had a bit of a hard time figuring out how to illustrate drain without a sink or some type of, gross medical procedure. After a while, I thought of a big concrete drain pipe. And there's this game called Gravity Rush where the main character kind of built herself a little one-room house inside of a concrete drain pipe, which I thought was really cute. But I decided to take some inspiration from that. So just as a bit of some backstory on Gravity Rush, it was originally released on the PlayStation Vita, and it was a really good game, but it didn't get a lot of exposure since it was on the Vita. The controls were a little wonky at times, but it wasn't too bad. I thought it worked really well on the handheld. I actually platinumed it. Yeah, I'm not bragging. It's just a fact. I really like the main character, Cat, or Kitten, I think as she's known in the Japanese version. It was kind of your typical Japanese anime main character female, where she's bubbly and loves eating food and kind of reckless, and she never really takes anything too seriously. And it kind of reminded me of Usagi from Sailor Moon, the main character. So she kind of struck a nostalgic chord there. And she has the ability to control gravity around her, hence the name. And she gains these abilities from a cat-like being that looks like a cat-shaped galaxy named Dusty. So the gimmick of the game is that you can control gravity, which I thought was a pretty neat concept, especially on the handheld, how you had to tilt it in order to basically change your perspective, or your point of gravity. Cat's drain pipe home was where you saved and loaded the game and changed her costumes and stuff, and whenever you came back to it, she would do little animations like nap or interact with different items that you could find while playing, and she would use them to decorate her little house. So because of Cat, I always think of her little drain pipe home whenever I see those big concrete drain pipes. So I kind of drew inspiration from that, but since I have a fan art ban for Inktober, I decided to do something more rooted in reality while still drawing or expanding on that. And I got the idea of two kids, maybe they're siblings or just really good friends, making like something of a little clubhouse or hangout that they could chill in after school in an old drain pipe. Reading comics, eating snacks, or just playing together before they have to head home for dinner and homework. I had a lot more planned for details and junk that the kids could put in the clubhouse, but I couldn't spend as much time as I would have liked on the little things. But I really liked the concept. I don't really draw things like this often, and so it was an interesting experience. Granted, I have no idea how these kids managed to get this all set up, especially that loft bed thing that they have going on. Normally, I would have drawn in all the brackets, or at least something that looked like the kids actually constructed this clubhouse of sorts. Like, I was going to have a bunch of crates and stuff piled on top of each other that the girl used to climb up to the loft area, and a bunch of stuff in the background that they might have found or brought from home to fully furnish out their clubhouse. I kind of had it all planned out in the thumbnail, but I really needed to tone these prompts down just so I could get them done. I tried to keep the detail simple when I was sketching this out, but I also wanted to illustrate enough of what they like doing and what they created the clubhouse for. So I made sure to put in their little snacks, some chips and cookies. Their backpacks are set off to the side. The girl is sharing something she found funny in her comic with the boy, and I tried to make sure that he was actually expressive. I think they look pretty cute. There's also a few little birds in the water down at the bottom. I just wanted to add a few more simple details. I had the water spill out onto the bottom of the page to kind of break the frame and prevent the drain from being the only frame for this illustration. It kind of solidifies the scene and makes it just a little bit more interesting to look at. I would hate to think what would happen to their clubhouse after a good rain though, but maybe they're in a city that it doesn't rain too often, or since it's summer, they don't have to worry about it for right now. I checked on Google just to make sure it was actually called a drain pipe when they were this big, and I kind of wanted some reference just to see how big they could get, or if it was even possible to do this. And there are actually people who have made tiny houses out of them, or used them as a room. So if you're unfamiliar with the term tiny house, it's basically just a really small home. They can have only one room, or maybe like a few small rooms, or they could be mobile or anything like that, but it's not quite as big as like a trailer or a mobile home would normally be. Wikipedia describes it as a social movement that advocates living simply in a small home. But it was really neat to look this up and actually see people using them as a small home. And as a matter of fact, there's one place in Germany that has a park hotel made entirely out of repurposed drain pipes. So all of the rooms for this hotel, even like the lounge and the bar, are just repurposed drain pipes. So yeah, I thought that was pretty neat. All in all, I really enjoyed this prompt. I would have liked to add more details like I said, but I have to remember that these prompts aren't meant to feel like complete pieces. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next prompt, number 22, expensive. Like the Copics that I am currently burning through for this Inktober. I should just draw a bunch of Copics for the prompt. That's tempting, but I'm not gonna. Bye!